Hi, Chef Joe with Healthy Kids Inc. and today we're going to be making black bean and turkey sloppy joes with seasoned french fries. So first things first, you want to get a nice large skillet preheating on medium-low heat for your turkey that we're going to start browning in just a second. You also want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees, which we've already done. And in a large bowl, we have some of our seasonings. We've got basil, we've got thyme, we've got cumin, garlic powder, chili powder, little paprika, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And you can kind of feel free if you like a little bit more of one to go a little heavier on it if you'd like. But I've already mixed those up in the bowl, and we're going to toss our already cut potatoes in these spices and a little bit of oil. And then we're going to spread them out on our sheet and bake them for about 30 minutes at the preheated oven temp of 450 degrees until they get nice and crispy and golden. You can see with just a little bit of oil, these get nice and coated. Okay, once you've got that done, you can begin to spread them out. Just want to give each of them a little bit of space on the sheet so that they can brown. Done that, if you have any extra of your seasoning, you can sprinkle it over the top. Now we're ready to pop these into the 450 degree oven for 30 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. Just going to give them a little drizzle there and pop them right into the oven. Okay, and you might want to check them about halfway through and give them a little shake, just make sure nothing's sticking. So I'm going to set my timer. All right, so now we're going to begin to brown our turkey. Just going to season this just a little bit with some salt, fresh cracked black pepper. All right, so we're going to let this begin to brown. And something that is entirely optional, you can take some of the seasonings that are going to go in the sloppy joe mixture and season your turkey just a little bit. You don't want to go overboard because you are going to add it in later, but it's just a way to kind of kick up your turkey just a little bit. So we've got paprika and chili powder there. We're just going to brown this all the way and drain off any fat. And even with just that little bit of spice, you can already start to smell the difference that it makes. So imagine that in terms of taste. And using a lean cut of meat like turkey should ensure that we won't get much fat to have to drain off, but I can see some fat already draining off. So if you were doing this with a fattier cut of meat, you would really have to take care to try and drain all of that off. So that's why we've chosen a nice lean cut of meat to begin with. And some of the other great ingredients that we're going to use in our black bean and turkey sloppy joes, we've got some nice canned tomatoes, we have some green chilies, we've got some onions, we have of course our black beans, some tomato paste and juice for flavor, a little bit of garlic, and something that you could easily do tonight for dinner and then have plenty of leftovers to make sandwiches for lunch the next day. Sometimes things like this, sloppy joes, spaghetti, just different things like that, to me are always better, sometimes the second and even third day after flavors have had a chance to kind of combine and come together. Okay, our turkey is just about brown. Got just a little bit of pink left, so we're just going to give it a few more minutes here. All right, so our turkey is now brown. We're going to go ahead and kill the heat. We want to drain the fat, and then we want to allow our turkey to cool so that we can work with it by hand. So I'm kind of pulling it to one side of the pan and tilting my pan to let all this fat drain to the other side, and then we'll dispose of it. So now our turkey has been drained and is cooled. We've got it here in our larger mixing bowl. Kind of take your spatula and break up any larger bits of your turkey if you haven't already done so. And what I'm going to do now is begin adding in our other ingredients. So we've got some chopped onion. It's going to go in. Got a little bit of garlic. We have our black beans that have been drained. We have our canned tomatoes. Take the juice first. And what we're going to do, because we already have some other tomato juice to add, you may not end up needing it all because you don't want too wet of a mixture. So we'll take the juice that was standing with our canned tomatoes and incorporate that first. Then add your tomatoes in. You should still get some juice out of the tomatoes themselves. Begin to incorporate all of that. You can kind of smash these tomatoes with the sides of your spoon or your spatula. Kind of give you a little bit of different texture, a little bit of crunch for the pieces that haven't been smashed. Okay. We have some green chili. Okay, now we've also got some tomato paste and a little bit of the juice. I'm going to add just a couple of splashes of the juice. It called for 12 ounces, but depending, you may not need all of that, and I don't believe I'm going to need all of that for this. So just again, play it by ear. Okay, now we're going to go in with our tomato paste. And this is really going to give us a nice, robust, deep tomato flavor. And also act as a bit of a binding agent, kind of hold all of this together. Just kind of fold it all together here. See the beautiful color, smells great. And at this point, you're basically done. All you have to do is scoop this out onto buns. You're not really making a patty or anything, it's just a really loose mixture. But something that you can do, optional, can serve it right now as is. You can warm it up in a pot if you want to. You can have it at room temperature. You can even have it cold. Or you can put this in the fridge, let it set overnight, and it's going to be even better the next day. But with this amount, you should have a little bit of leftovers anyway, so you could have some now and then have some later. So at this point, we're just going to plate this up with our fries when they come out of the oven, which should be any minute now. We're going to give those a check. All right, so we're going to check our fries. You can hear them hissing away. Just give them a little shake, a little tap. Just going to let these go a little bit longer. They've got about 5 or 10 minutes left tops. So we're going to pop those back in. When those are done, we'll plate them up and show you the finished product.